Hello everyone and welcome to this week's video. And this week in the IndUK video, looking at different things from the UK and Indonesia, is ideas about the weather and how they differ between the two countries, or are there even some similarities? So this week we look at the 5 questions from each of us from the UK and Indonesia about the weather in each other's country and what we like or dislike about the weather. So yeah, let's look forward to listening to these questions and getting some very interesting insights into the UK and Indonesia's weather.
Yeah, all right. So, hi again, everyone. Yeah, so I already have 5 questions with me for you to ask about how the weather is in the UK, and I'm sure you already have your 5 questions, right?
Yeah, I do. So before we can start, let's say to everyone out there to like and subscribe to the channel right now so you don't forget later. We'd really
Yes.
appreciate a like and subscribe to help us grow even further.
Yeah, so
And that you
if
can
you like,
catch us every week that we're on YouTube or Facebook or wherever. So you don't need to miss out ever again.
yeah, so don't forget to like and subscribe. Okay, shall we start with the first question? Who's gonna start? Are you gonna
Okay,
start
let's get
or
started.
should I
Yeah,
start?
I can ask you the first question of this week,
Okay.
which is, what are the weather disasters that occur in Indonesia? Why are they so dangerous?
The weather disasters. So in Indonesia, like from the news that I've heard, like on the television and also on the social media, there are some disasters that happen because of certain weather. Mostly is flood, and it doesn't happen like all over Indonesia. It happens only like to some regions. So the first one is flood, and even the flood, when it is coming, it can be up to 2 meters, 3 meters, even 5 meters. So it can be really bad. And the first one is the flood, and then it may happen because of the heavy rain, because of the, how could I say this? It's like the big amount of the water coming from the rain. That's it. And also, first it is because of that, and the other one is because maybe in those places they don't really have a good management of the surrounding, or maybe the drainage is stuck by the rubbish, or yeah, so it's like not a good management of the surrounding, how they keep their surrounding clean. But that's one of the disaster that may happen. The first one is the blood, the not blood, I mean flood. And the second one is landslide, because in Indonesia, it's a big country, and then we have a lot of mountains, and more and more people. I mean, like in some locations, there is a high possibility. There's a big possibility that landslide might happen, and usually it is because of the rain, like heavy rain, the landslide. And then there's another one. Oh yeah, lately there were also like some disasters happened, and it is because of the tornadoes. Even there are some tornadoes in Indonesia, and then it can ruin, like the buildings, like the people's houses, and it's really dangerous actually, and really scary. Yeah, the tornado. But luckily, me, in my village, in my hometown, it never happened. It happens in some parts and in some areas, but not sure like the characteristic of that place, which is likely to experience that kind of disasters, especially tornado. So flood, landslide, tornado, and the weather. I think, yeah. Oh, one more is about the how do you say, the drought? Drought, right?
Yeah, the drought.
Drought, yeah. When it is in dry season, then the water is getting less and less, and it's getting dry everywhere, and now the amount of the water is getting less, then it is possible that in some parts of Indonesia they are out of water. So they need to find a place to get water. Even even me, I experienced it myself in my hometown. Yeah, we were out of water from our house. Then we needed to go to like the place in the other village in our neighborhood to get some water. So that may happen. Okay, so flood and okay, honey, can you repeat what are those? The one that I mentioned.
The flood, the tornadoes,
Yes.
and the drought.
Yeah. And you missed one more thing.
The landslide.
Landslide. Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
Those
so
are.
I got all of them there. So I didn't realize that any tornadoes in Indonesia. It's not really
happens.
on the news too often.
And
but actually, the UK has the most tornadoes in the world per year,
really?
but they very rarely cause any disasters. So I think they're just in fields, but they're not very strong, so they cannot cause any kind of disaster. I guess it's because of our rainy summers, where they get a lot of wind and rain in the hot season in the summer. So in that time, the warm air and the kind of cloudy and rainy weather can cause lots of tornadoes. But because we're not such a hot country, there's not so much hot energy in the tornadoes, so it can't cause any disasters.
I see.
So that was great, Hun. So that was the first question from me. Yes. And now we can go to the first question from you.
Okay, so the question from me is that please share how many seasons are there in the UK? It's a very basic question.
So in the UK, there are 4 seasons throughout the year. So we normally go from the calendar order. So normally the first season we learn at school in order is spring. So this is the season after winter, when the weather begins to warm up from the cold winter and then goes towards the warm summer. So in the spring, lots of new flowers are beginning to grow in the ground, like daffodils and tulips and snowdrops, crocuses. So the temperature in the springtime can range from maybe 6 at the beginning of March up to maybe close to 30 sometimes, 30 degrees at the end of May. So it's the season when all the flowers are growing and the trees get their leaves back from the winter. And also when a lot of animals are born on farms or in the wild. Like the spring is famous in the UK for lots of lambs being born, and also for new birds being born as well. So spring is like the growing back season. So this is between March and May, the season of spring. Then the next season is the summer, between June, July, and August. So this is usually the hottest time of the year. So we normally have temperatures in the UK around maybe the coldest will be 15 and the hottest is sometimes even 34 or 35, but very rarely. So normally the hottest would be around 25 degrees and the average coolest would be around maybe 17 or 18 degrees in the daytime. So during the summer, there can be lots of sunny, bright weather with low winds. In the summer, we also get lots of thunderstorms, which come from the southwest. But these thunderstorms are not very dangerous. They only last about 20 minutes and maybe only have about 5 lightning strikes in them. But in the summer, many people go to the beach for their holidays and go walking in the hills because it's the warmest and sunniest time of the year. So a lot of people go out to do their social activities and their holidays at this time because it's the warmest time of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next season in the UK is autumn. So the temperature begins to fall from the summer as the country heads into winter. So it goes from the highest will probably be around 23 to maybe, well, 23 at the beginning
Mm-hmm.
of September to maybe, let me see, maybe 0 or even negative numbers at the end of November when it goes to the winter. So in the autumn, the trees begin to lose their leaves, and the trees' leaves turn brown, yellow, and red, and the trees look really nice in the autumn as they turn different colors. So you can go to the forest and see the many different trees with different colors on, such as yellow. Maybe some trees still have green, and some trees have red, and some trees have brown. So there's a fascinating range of colors to look at.
Yeah.
So that's really good.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's really good. And the harvest is also in the autumn time when the farmers collect all of their crops and their plants from their fields. So the farmers will go and collect in all their hay and wheat and other things they grow throughout the year so they can make it into food later. So I think that's the main thing about autumn. So the final season is winter, the coldest one. So in the winter, that goes from December until February. Mm-hmm. And the temperatures here maybe start of December through to February. I think they can be really cold. Maybe they range from maybe -10 sometimes to about +10 degrees. So this is definitely the coldest season of all. And I remember last winter we had lots of snow. So over December, January and February we had snow almost every day. So all the roads were icy and the fields were white with snow, and all the snow made everything look very clean and pure and magical. So winter, it can also be a nice season, but it's very cold. And you need to wear lots of coats and jumpers and things like that.
Yeah.
So I guess that's all the seasons in the UK.
Wow, you've got a lot of seasons, and it's so hard to remember. Yeah. Yeah, but does snow always fall in the winter? Is there any way that snow falls in the other, I mean, maybe in spring, in winter?
Yeah, I guess sometimes, well, the most common month for snow to fall in the spring is in March, when it's the coldest month. So more often than not, there'll be some kind of snow in March. But even there is some snow in April sometimes, the beginning of April, because that's also sometimes quite cold.
Interesting. Yeah, I really want to touch snow, I really want to experience snow. I've never been, I have seen snows like on TV or maybe on some movies, but then sometimes I really want to touch it. Like, I want to feel it, like how it feels like. It must be really cold.
Yeah, it's very cold, so you have to wear gloves.
Yeah. Okay, then. Wow, a lot of seasons. It's so hard to remember. Again, I'm gonna say that again. That is so hard to remember.
So the next question is,
please?
What strategies do the government have to prevent the disasters from causing damage in Indonesia?
Okay, so because we talked about disasters before, right? And now let's talk about disasters like how the government is trying to prevent those disasters. Actually, each region or each location, we call like some parts of the Indonesia, it has a lot of provinces. Like a lot of provinces, like regions, and each of them has its own characteristic, and then it is also the possible disaster which may happen like to each region is like different from one to another. So what the government is trying to do is that each of them has like specific programs for like for specific region for their, yeah, for that, I mean, only for that area. Like for example, like this region is for like vulnerable. I would say like vulnerable for to the flood. For example, in Jakarta, because in Jakarta, it's every time a heavy rain like falls, then there is a possibility that the flood is coming. Then this the government of Jakarta, I mean the government in Jakarta, they have their own some programs how to prevent this. But then and for sure this program is one of them is by I'm not sure the terminology that I can say here because I'm not familiar with the terminology. So they are trying to make sure that the water flow like to the river, it can go like smoothly, or it can be go like well, so that it will not get stuck, so the water will just getting more and more in certain locations. And also some programs about cycling uh the waste cycling, right? Like the recycling, like
Oh
some
yeah, the
the
recycling.
recycling program. So it has a lot of programs. And then in the other location, as I mentioned, there are some locations who are like it's like mountain area, and it is possible that and landslide may happen over there. Then they have their own like program, like by trying to build the like like construction which prevent if let's say there's a heavy rain coming, or so that the landslide, because usually it is like in mountain area, and then usually mostly it is like close to the housings, and or if not, then there will be like the road. So if let's say the landslide is happening, then it may block the road. So the people like the transportation will there will be like some problem with the transportation, so the road will get blocked by that landslide. Even it may cause like some it may injure some people who are like passing by. So they're trying, there is specific constructions that they are trying to build in some areas. And for the tornadoes as well, in some parts they are trying to have a different kind of, like they have that kind of program in the way how they are building their houses. I'm not familiar with that, but then they have their specific like what is it? For example, because we cannot generalize like the how the houses are built in one location and the others, because to those regions or locations which are vulnerable to the tornadoes, then they have to build like a stronger house with a stronger foundation, and also with so that kind of stuff. There would be like some kind of programs like that. So yeah, they're trying. I mean, the government is trying their best to prevent any disasters that may happen, and each region has a different way how they're doing it.
Oh, that's really good. Yeah, so it's good that they're protecting the people
Yeah,
there in
yeah,
Indonesia.
yeah.
So, what do you think is best? Is it best to use natural defenses to things like floods, where they can introduce beavers to build dams in the rivers so the rivers don't overflow? And maybe they could also plant trees in the valleys so it stops too much water falling down.
Mhm.
Or do you think they should also use some like man-made um, preventions, such
Mhm.
as kind of digging out the rivers to be even deeper so more water can get in? So,
Yeah,
what do you think is best, or should they use a mixture?
I think they should do all of them. Like all of them, like all of those like ways that you mentioned, they should do all of them. And then as far as I see it, even like the government, especially the government in Jakarta, because I was there for a few years, and then I saw that the government the government has been doing all of those those actions that you have just mentioned, by digging out like the river so that it can get like deeper, and also like building like some dams and then that kind of stuff, even like planting the trees in some areas. They're trying to do like anything that they can do to prevent any disaster to happen.
Wow, that's great news that they're trying to work so hard to do
Yeah,
this.
right. Yeah, because it's better to prevent, right?
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's. Oh, I mean, now it is my turn, right? Okay, so my
Yeah,
turn.
number
Number
two.
two. Number two. Okay, I'd like to know, how do people. Okay, because you mentioned there are 4 seasons in the UK, right? And
Hmm.
then, so my question is, how do people spend time differently in each season? Because each season it is like different from one to another. So again, the question is, how do people spend time differently in each season? And what I mean is that, is there any different activities that people do?
Yeah, so I guess in the winter time when the weather is really cold and dark, then maybe people will spend more time indoors. So maybe this would be even in their own houses where
Mm-hmm.
they could sit on a sofa and watch the TV or watch
Mm-hmm.
Netflix, or maybe they want to play on video games on their favorite video game.
Mm-hmm.
Um, or maybe they, in the winter, they also do things like go to the gym to do exercise so they can kind of feel some natural relief and excitement from going to the gym and feel much better because in the UK in the winter it's very dark most of the day, so it makes us feel a little bit down and miserable. So we need to do things like hanging out with our friends and family to cheer us up. So yeah, there are also other things we can do as well. Like we can meet our friends in the pubs, in the bars and the cafes, or go and see a movie. So I guess in the winter in the UK, people like to do things indoors and stay away from
Mm-hmm.
the cold weather. So I think any kind of indoor activity like that is most preferred by the UK people.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but I think there are still some outside activities because during the Christmas period, building up to Christmas on the 25th of December, then there are lots of outside markets where people can go shopping for Christmas presents, and these markets look
Mm-hmm.
very pretty and nice and
Mm-hmm.
beautiful, so it makes people go outside. And there are often lots of hot drinks for sale and also some hot food for sale to keep people warm, to encourage them to go outside and go to these markets, which are really nice. And they're really nicely decorated as well.
Mm, nice.
Yeah. So I guess the winter and the second half of autumn and the first half of spring are the same. So also there are some famous activities and festivals in the UK in the second half of autumn, such as Halloween, where people like to get dressed
Mm-hmm.
up as scary characters and have parties in these, or the
Mm-hmm.
children like to go and knock on people's doors and ask for candies. So there's Halloween, which people like to celebrate in the second half of autumn. And then there's also bonfire night. So in bonfire night, people stand around a fire and celebrate the death of the Guy Fawkes who tried to blow up the government building in London in
Oh,
1605, I think.
okay.
So we have a bonfire for everyone to stand around and keep warm, and
Mm-hmm.
then we put a kind of dummy of Guy Fawkes onto the fire to burn him,
Mm-hmm. Oh.
and then we also light fireworks, and everyone has a great time because there's also food and drink available as well
Mm-hmm.
to enjoy in the cold weather.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's pretty much it. The main activities for winter and the colder parts of autumn and spring. So the summer people like to maybe go on holiday,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's in the UK to some seasides,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe they want to go abroad to even hotter countries to enjoy the sunshine. So maybe some people will like to go to the south of France, or maybe even Spain or Italy, where it's much hotter and they can experience a different culture
Mm-hmm.
to what they know already.
Mm-hmm.
And also in the summer, people like to go to the countryside for various activities, like maybe they go for a picnic,
Mm-hmm.
or they want to go and cycle around in the countryside on a bike, which can help them take in some nice scenery. Or maybe if they don't want to take a bike, they can take a walk in the countryside, maybe through a forest or some fields, or even up some hills, or any kind of area they want to go.
Mm-hmm.
So that's great. And also people will also like to maybe play some outdoor sports and do some activities like that, like go running or play football or cricket or any other particular sport. So I guess people like to be outside as much as possible in the summer to enjoy the sunshine.
Mm-hmm.
And the sunshine lasts a long time in the UK in the summer. I think the latest the sun will go down is about 10:30 in the evening, and the sun wakes up or comes up maybe at 3:30 in the morning. So there's a lot of time to enjoy the sunshine.
That's really short.
Hmm.
Oh, okay.
So it's a long day with the
Mm-hmm,
sunshine out.
it is. I mean, like a short night with a long day, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Mm,
Yeah, it's a really long day in the
yeah.
summer,
Mm-hmm.
but it makes us really happy because the sun is out and we can enjoy the sunshine, and then that helps us become happy. And what was the question again?
My internet connection is unstable, it says. Oh,
Uh,
oh.
yeah, it's okay now.
Is it okay now? Can you hear me well? Clearly?
Yeah, I can hear you well. I can hear you clearly now.
Okay.
So yeah, is it
Yeah.
my turn to ask you another question? Which
Yeah.
question number are we on now? Number 3. In
Question number 3.
Indonesia,
Mm-hmm.
and why?
Can you repeat your question, please?
What is your favorite type of weather in Indonesia and why?
My favorite weather. Okay, before I answer that, so it is Indonesia is different from the UK. In the UK, the UK has like 4 seasons, but in Indonesia we have only 2 seasons. One is we call it dry season, and the other one is raining season. So we have only two. And if you are asking me which one that I would prefer, okay, dry season or raining season, I would prefer raining season because it is cold. Because I prefer to feel cold rather than to feel super hot. Because Indonesia, once it is in dry season, it is possible to be really really hot in the day, and then it makes people, or yeah, it makes me feel uncomfortable. Like, I mean, to do like some activities, but but about the raining season, why do I prefer like raining season? Because mostly the actually it is so hard, to answer this question, like which one I would prefer, because also there are some things that I don't really like when it is in the raining season, because everything will be, you know, for example, we want to do like some activities, then it is raining outside, it will be annoying. Then and like it can rain at any time, and if the rain is like quite a heavy rain, then maybe it can even it can stay like for a long time. It can rain for a long time, so I cannot really say. But if I want, if to choose, if it is me to choose which one, dry season or raining season, I would prefer raining season, because I prefer to be, let's say, not that not in that hot environment. Yeah.
I see. So I guess how hot is too hot for you?
So 30, well, 30 is still okay again. 33, 34, that's really, really hot.
I
That's
see.
super hot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's super hot for me also. So that's great. That was question 3, I think.
I think there was a poor connection like for a while, but that's okay.
I think so. It's okay. So
I think I answered the question already, right?
yeah, you answered the question. So now
Okay.
it's question 3.
For you, right?
Yeah, for me.
Yes. Okay, so I think, oh, my question is similar to your question for number 3. So you told me that there are 4 seasons in the UK, and then like for each season there must be like some spatial, I mean, different activities that people do in there. And now my question is similar to your question again. Which one is your favorite season and why? Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I listen. So this is the best season because after the long winter, the days begin to get longer, and then with more sunshine, it makes us feel much happier and excited, and it helps us get through the day much easier with more sunlight. So this for this reason, that's one of my reasons. It's my favorite season, and we also have lots of things to look forward to in spring, like the return of warmer weather
Mm-hmm.
and sunshine,
Mm-hmm.
and the return of lots of interesting sports seasons also, such as the rugby season will begin in spring and the cricket season. So we can get excited to play these sports again and watch them too. And it's
Mm-hmm.
like the beginning of a new year. And I like spring also because it has the festival of Easter, which is really nice because it brings everyone together and you can enjoy lots of chocolate also and take some time off work to enjoy your free time.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess for the weather, I guess I like spring because it has really nice, comfortable weather conditions, such as the temperature, which my favorite temperature is around 18 to 21.
Mm-hmm.
And it's quite often that temperature in the springtime here, but for some reason, not this year, it's been much colder. It hasn't got above 17
Mm-hmm.
all year. So that's good. And my favorite kind of weather is the sunshine and showers. So I like the sunshine and showers because one moment it can be bright and sunny, and then the rain can quickly come and make everything feel fresh again. So when you go outside, you can breathe in the fresh and cool air,
Wow.
and it makes all the roads look really shiny when
Mm-hmm.
the rain has just fallen and the sun comes out again. So it makes everything look bright and sparkly. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I love the spring for these reasons.
Wow, it seems like there are so many things that you can do, and there are so many things happen in not summer, I mean spring, right? Yeah.
Yeah, in the spring, many things can
Hmm.
happen.
You know what? I just realized that actually you asked me about the weather. Which one is my favorite weather? It was not necessarily the season, right?
Yeah, but I guess there were just two kind of weathers, well, the
Yeah.
types in
Yeah.
Indonesia, so that's okay.
Yeah. So, all right then. Okay.
Okay,
So we'll go
so
to the next question, please.
yeah, so does the weather pattern change throughout the year? And what is the difference in the weather you have throughout the year?
Okay. So throughout the year, uh, there are two seasons. The weather. Okay, like the patterns of the weather, or I would say, I think it would be easier for me to say like the season overall, like to represent the weather itself. Yeah, yeah. I think I can say that, right? Okay. So, uh, during the year, like all the year, there are basically two, as I mentioned before. We have in Indonesia, we have dry season and also raining season. When it is dry season, it will be really hot and it will be really dry. But then when it is raining season, like the rain can, the rain falls almost every day, like literally every day. And most of the time it is like heavy rain every day. So, uh, and when actually when it is like the period of time for dry season and also like raining season, um, the for the what is it for the dry season, it is from March up to September. And then for the raining season, it will come from October up to February. But then, according to there is like one board, like the one that is taking care of this kind of climatology and about this. So it is called BMKG, the Board of Meteorology, Climatology, and geophysics something. I am not sure if I'm saying like the English version correctly. So there is like that board is, so according to the result, according to the data that they have, it says that the pattern, it is like changing like around 1 or 2 months like back. Like for example, like normally it is like from March to September will be the dry season. Then there is a possibility that it is like shifting, not really shifting, but it's just like it is it comes like a bit, it comes a bit like later, like I forgot, either it is like for 1 or 2 months, so it keeps changing like from time to time. And even the thing is that for okay, so to answer your question about the pattern, does it change? Yes, it changes from time to time according to the result that this board in climatology thing has already released or published. So yeah. And like something interesting is that in Indonesia there is the point when it is like we have extreme weather. When it is in the raining season, there is a possibility that it would be like in extreme weather, so that as I mentioned before, the rain may fall almost every day, so that like the amount of the rainfall in some region would be like so much, too much. And even for the dry season, it can reach extreme point, so that it can cause like some drought in some areas. So that's what's happening. Yeah.
Wow, it sounds very complex, and even if the season is moving,
it
it
is
will
it
become even
is
more strange.
it is very complex, and because Indonesia, and especially Indonesia, is a big country, where and then it's big, but then it's like separated, because we are like islands. Like there are like so many islands in Indonesia. So like the weather, and also like around like from one area to the others, like they're different. And yeah, so that's what's happening. Quite complex.
Yeah, it's complex. That's good. And what's the next question for me? I think number 4, isn't it?
Is it number 4, number 5? Okay.
Yeah, and
Okay. Oh, I think my question also is quite similar to your question. Is there any way that the season does not change the way it is supposed to be? So it's about the pattern again, right? Yeah.
yeah,
So,
about the patterns.
and have you ever experienced it when it's changing, not the way how it is supposed to be, or like normally?
Yeah, I think even at the moment, the weather is kind of cold for the time of year. So
Mhm.
the moment the temperature doesn't want to go above 17 degrees Celsius. And
Mhm.
I checked the weather the other day, and it says even at the end of May, there will be no temperature that will go above 18 degrees. So this is very rare in the UK for the temperature not to go above 17 all the way through spring.
Mhm.
So I guess normally in spring, you'll often get temperatures of, well, towards the end of spring anyway, around 22 to 24 as the
Mhm.
highest temperatures, but we didn't get those temperatures this year. So I think the weather is acting very strangely this year.
Mhm.
But also, sometimes in the winter, in some years, the weather can be very mild or warmer than usual, and that will mean there will be no snow falling during the winter.
Oh. Mhm.
So in these years, we normally have the weather patterns of wind and clouds and rain. So we often have storms coming from the southwest if the winter is warmer than normal.
Mhm.
But in normal years, the weather in the winter is very cold and often snow will fall. So when the snow falls, it normally comes from either the north or the east
Mhm.
or the northeast. So
Mhm.
I guess you always kind of know what the weather will bring when you can see which way the wind is blowing. So
Oh.
it's kind of sad when the weather doesn't kind of match the typical season's weather, but I
Mhm.
guess this happens from time to time. So we just have to make do with the weather that we get. But the worst one is, I think, in the summer when it's too cold, maybe too cool, and we don't get any hot or warm days,
Mhm.
and there is too much rain, then people like to go out in the summer and sit outside or do
Mhm.
things outside. But if the weather in the summer is not warm or is too rainy, then
Mhm.
that is not normal, and people become upset that they can't
Yeah.
do their
Yeah.
normal summer activities.
Yeah.
So that's how it will change.
Oh.
Mm.
Yeah. So it's not always. I mean, there is a possibility, right? Like to change. Uh, I'm not. I'm not sure. Like sometimes I have heard about like the climate change thing, and maybe it is one of the impact because of that. But well, I don't have like enough knowledge talking about the climate change anyway. All right, so I think it's your
So
turn.
yeah,
Our
now is
last
the
question.
last question.
Yes, please.
So what is the yearly temperature range in Indonesia, and what is your favorite kind of temperature to enjoy in your country?
Yes, this is a very interesting question because never have I ever like checked like or looked close. I mean, like had a close look to the temperature where I am like in, like in my environment. So I just realized that again, according to the data like published by that board like in climatology and stuff. So it was mentioned that in Indonesia the whole year like the average temperature is about 27, around 27.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's like the normal one. And yeah, but then again, as I mentioned, when it is like in the dry season, it can reach up to 30, 33, or 34. Yeah, but the most extreme weather or for the dry season, it was for the highest one, it was like in 2016. But I forgot the number, like what's the temperature at the time. So from here I can see that me actually I feel comfortable and I like it when it is around 25 degrees is feels okay for me. So it's not too hot, not too cold. Because if it is below 25, let's say 20, 22, I start feeling cold already. So 25 is just okay. So I can just wear a t-shirt or something. So I don't have to wear a jacket. But then once it is like let's say 20, then I'm sure that I'm gonna need a jacket. So 25 is perfect for me. And what about you? What about 25 for you?
Maybe it's a bit too hot, so I think for me, 18 to 23 is my favorite one. This
Okay.
kind of temperature is my favorite.
Okay.
So I guess we're not used to super hot temperatures in the UK. Maybe 18 to 23 is our favorite. But sometimes even then, we like it in the summer if it's hot like that to come back down much
Mm-hmm.
cooler to about 15 so we can have a rest from the hot weather.
Mm-hmm. Hmm. Interesting. Okay. So is it my turn?
Yeah, the last
Okay.
question.
The last question. If you could pick only one season, you've got 4 seasons, right? So if you could pick only one season out of those four for the whole year, which one would it be and why?
Yeah, I think spring would
Spring.
be the one I'd like to be in most because it's not too hot and it's not too cold
Mm-hmm.
and everything is coming back to life again.
Mm-hmm.
So the fields feel fresh
Mm-hmm.
and everything feels fresh.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got the nice weather as well, but not too hot. And you've just had the end of winter, so everything is warming up again and
Mm-hmm.
everything feels positive and people are happy that there's no more cold weather and dark nights and the nights are getting longer so people can go out for longer, do things outside longer and enjoy kind of sunnier weather again.
Mm-hmm.
So and also there is Easter in spring as well, which is really nice. So
Yeah.
I guess it has a lot of interesting and enjoyable kinds of weather. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I think that would be my favorite kind of season to be in for
Wow.
a long time.
Hmm. It's so nice that you can actually pick one out of four, like the best season. But me, I cannot really tell, either it is the dry season or the raining season because each of them has, like the goods and the bad. So I cannot really pick one, but I can pick the temperature. 25 is the best one. 25
25 is the
degrees. Yeah.
best.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes, it is.
that's good, but maybe slightly too hot for me. So
Yeah.
I think 25 would be nice, but not for
Hmm.
too long.
Yeah, okay. All right then. So we have finished with all of those, five from you and five from me.
Yeah, that's great. So don't forget to like and share and subscribe to the video, or
Mm-hmm.
maybe even Facebook, where it might also get shared too. So
Mm-hmm.
the more likes and shares we have, the more people we can get to watch future episodes.
Yes, that's true. All right. So I'll see you in the next video.
Okay, bye bye.
Okay, bye everyone.